We're live. All right. Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? I'm just checking in with myself. And I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. So I'm going to take a breath and roll my shoulders. And invite you to do the same thing so that we can land here, be present, so that we can talk about some real important information that I'm sharing today for any woman that is in a relationship with a man and struggles because you feel him pulling away from you. You feel him becoming disconnected or distant. And it might be because you had a fight and he doesn't want to talk about it. It might be because he had a bad day. Or it might just be because like you have no idea why, but he is pulling the fuck away from you and is freaking you out. And everything that you're trying to do, nothing's working. And maybe it's even making that rift bigger. So before I get into that, hey, my name is Michelle Kanan. If you are new to my world, hey, nice to meet you. I'm known as the Satisfied Wife. My whole business has been built on the fundamental that that our relationships with our masculine partners are not only portals for healing and growth and the deepest love that we've ever known, but that our man in his no, in his refusal to just go along with what we think needs to happen in order for things to be good or okay, that there's a lot of wisdom there from him to challenge us actually to evolve into something even more delicious and exciting and nourishing and expansive than we could ever do alone. And what I love teaching my clients is how our triggers, when we're triggered by our partners, because that happens like all the time, our partners are always triggering us, how those triggers can be opportunities for healing and growth, and how we can make the best out of those situations, because it's totally normal to be triggered. It's totally normal to not be satisfied and to not get what you want all the time. And we've been taught a lot about problems, like it shouldn't be like that, right? We should always be happy. We should always be getting everything exactly like we want. But A, that's not how the world works. And B, thank God that's not the way that the world works. Thank God that's not the way that your relationship works, because it's through those struggles, it's through those no's that we actually get to evolve and expand into something like that our limited thinking could never actualize or give us on our own. So if you're joining me live, I see a few of you are on, say hello and just leave a comment so I know that you're here. Feel free to ask me questions. I am a generator. I love responding. And if you're catching the replay, do #replay, #reslay if you're cool like that, and let me know any questions. I'm here. You might have noticed I'm on lives a lot because we are opening doors to my Goddess Wife Schol, which starts I think a week from today on the 26th, or a week from Monday. Doors are open. And so I'm here to give so much value and so much information to everyone that wants to know what it's like to live that goddess wife life, and how you can have a partnership with your man that feels sexy and satisfying and really successful, and where you both get everything that you ever wanted. Because a lot of what we're taught is that we don't. It's either him or me, or it's, if he gets what he wants, or I can't get what I want, and we have to meet in the middle, 50-50, and that's such bullshit. I hate compromise. I don't believe in 50-50. I believe in 100-100. So let's get into it. Today we're talking about why your man might become distant or disconnected, and what you should never do when that happens, and also what you should totally do when that happens, not only to make the best of the situation, but to help bring you closer together, to help really foster like deep partnership, and to be able to show up for yourself 100 and show up for him in 100, and give him the space to be his 100, so he can come back to you and pour into you, and then you can pour into him and have a co-creational, juicy ass, sexy, fun, connected relationship with your man. So if this is resonating for you, leave a comment. Let me know, shocker, if you're with a man that sometimes feels distant. Shocker, if you're with a man That sometimes, like, if you're emotional, he's just like, whoa, 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 that's too much. He might pull away. He might not feel like talking. It might feel like he's stonewalling you, or he's giving one word answers, and you get frustrated and you're like, what the fuck, dude? Why don't you want to talk to me? If you don't talk to me, we're never going to figure this out. Why does he always shut down? Why does he not want to be close to me? Why, when I'm emotional, does he not like me? Right? How many of you have had a thought like that, or had a story like that in your mind, and have been triggered to start that wave of thinking when your partner is quote unquote distant, or when he's not acting the way that you want him to act, or be as present with you or connected to you or affectionate with you when something is going on, either an issue or if he's tired or like whatever, right? Like, so leave a comment, and I should see a million comments because it happens to everybody. Like, because what I want to tell you, the first thing that I want to tell you is that it's totally normal and natural, and it's a very good thing. It's a very, very good thing that your partner disconnects, as you would call it, or becomes distant in those moments. And I'm going to tell you why. You want him to make that distance. You want that distance to be there because a lot of stuff that might be going on for your partner or for yourself, we've been trained that we need to like come together and share everything. But it's not always true. It's really healthy to have that kind of space and distance, and depending on what is going on, right? If it's an issue with your partner, or even if it's an issue with yourself, your partner, your masculine partner, he needs that space to process, to generate energy, to do whatever he needs to do in order to be able to rejoin with you in a way that's really healthy and constructive for him to be his best self with you, right? But a lot of us don't realize that. We don't know that because we were taught that, like, men and women are exactly the same, or that, we look at the world through this lens of, well, this is what I would do and how I would be. And so if he's not doing that, that must mean something is wrong, something is bad. Like, or a lot of us are acting from our feminine pain body, from our triggered place, right? And when we feel him pulling away or being distant, it triggers a reaction in us that makes us panic and freak out and do non-logical things to try to get him back and closer and like be the way that we want him to be in order so that we can regulate and be calm, right? But when we do that, and this is the thing never to do, my loves, when we do that, it actually sets off another chain of events that has the opposite effect. And so that when your man is trying to take that kind of space and you start panicking and like feeling like, right, sometimes it feels like you might be drowning and you just need to like grab onto something just to stabilize, it makes him want to pull farther away, or makes him want to create more space and distance because now he needs even more energy and centering and grounding in order to be that complete solid presence for you. But you're not allowing him to do that. You're fighting him there. And so it's like part of that cycle that happens over and over and over again. And 100% I get it. The reason I can speak so clearly about it is because it has happened to me, and it still sometimes happens to me. But because I have because I have this awareness and knowledge, when it is happening now, I am able to pay attention and recognize what is going on. I'm able to use the tools from Goddess Wife Schol, like the tool of feminine communication, the tools of nourishing alone at time, the tools of masculine appreciation, in order to allow that space, and then do the feeling is healing tools, right? Take care of myself, regulate myself, and then rejoin my partner in a constructive, like co-creative place, instead of a place of I'm freaking out and you're not acting the way that you're supposed to be acting, and get over here, and why are you pulling away, and all of these stories that up in our brains when we feel that distance. If you're watching, let me remind you having nourishing alone time, having distance is super important, especially when there's some kind of conflict, right? The way that you process and analyze and move through your feelings is wildly different than the way that your masculine partner does. And he needs that space and that distance, but so many of us don't know how to regulate on our own, which is why I have a whole module on feeling is healing in Goddess Wife Schol. We don't know how to take care of ourselves in that way. And we don't realize that we need other resources, other relationships in our lives that are better suited, right? And more set up for what our immediate needs might be, that aren't necessarily your boyfriends and your husbands and your masculine partners. And that's just the truth. And there doesn't mean that there's something wrong with him or bad with him, or he's not being good enough, or he's not being supportive enough. Just the way that he does it is different. Now, I'm going to give you a caveat here. If you're in a shitty relationship with an abusive person that isn't interested in taking care of you and you're super clear about that, you can just disregard everything I'm saying. But if you know that you married a loving person, a person that is a teammate to you, that sometimes you just feel like you're having these struggles, right? Or he used to be able to give you what you wanted and needed, but somehow like along the way you lost that connection, you lost that communication, then I want you to know that 100% there's hope to bring that back. And I've done this with hundreds of women in committed relationships with their partners. And I don't know if you guys saw the interview that I did yesterday with Elisa, one of the alumni from my last round of Goddess Wife Schol, which was so beautiful, in which she actually healed the relationship with her ex-husband and now they're amazing co-parents. And she has another relationship that she's in with an incredible man, her sexy captain, but how healing that helped to have such a strong relationship. I really encourage anyone with ex-partners, right? We all have ex-boyfriends and husbands and stuff, to watch that video. But I just would like you to understand that there's so many misconceptions. There's so many ideas that we have in our brain that are telling us that what our partner is doing is uncaring, is wrong, is unsupportive, okay? And that reaction, right? That fear, that pain in that moment, it feels so real and true, but it's not always logical. And inside Goddess Wife Schol, what I teach you, what I show you is actually the truth of what is going on his side of the equation. Because if you know that he loves you, if you know that he cares about you, if you know that he wants to support you, right? Can it be okay that sometimes he is distant, that he is disconnected, just in the same way that sometimes you need to be distant and disconnected too? When we're triggered, though, our logical minds don't think like that. We get like all tripped up. We see those signs as proof of he's leaving me, he's abandoning me, he doesn't want to be there for me, our love isn't conditional, self-worth issues, insecurities, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful. If you're popping on now, I really encourage you to scroll back and watch this from the beginning. I love teaching about this. It's, you know, I know I have like a whole Goddess Wife Schol, but one of the reasons I love doing the launches and opening doors is I get to do these videos and really teach these principles, because I just believe that we can change the state of relationships between men and women. We can make such powerful marriages where and committed relationships where you feel amazingly supported and loved and have all the resources that you need from your partner. Excuse me. But so many of us in our minds are tripping us up because of societal conditioning, because of our past pain and trauma and emotional baggage. Oh, Ellie, hey, so good to see you. Yeah. And so I want you to understand, right, that it's never your fault or his fault. We're just two people that are triggering the shit out of each other and allowing that stuff to come to the surface for us to reckon with and for us to heal within ourselves. That's what the opportunity is, right? When we're triggered, it's just like surfacing, unearthing a deep wound inside of us. But what most of us do is we shame, we blame, we look outside at another person, at the outside cause, and we say, if you didn't do that, then I wouldn't feel this way, right? But if we didn't have what was inside of us, then we wouldn't be triggered, right? So that's what the opportunity is, to take our power back. That's what I think of as empowerment. Instead of waiting for him to change, instead of waiting for him to be something or someone else or do something in a way that is going to make you happy, which just makes you only conditionally happy, and that can change over time. Resourcing inside of yourself and finding that, giving yourself what you need and understanding. And sometimes it's just understanding that, oh shit, I got programmed in my mind. I learned a story that it doesn't make me feel good. And when I am looking at my relationship through that lens, it makes everything look shitty. And that might not be the truth. That might not actually be what's going on. And we actually did our first bonus call yesterday for Goddess Wife Schol. And it was so beautiful. The women already realized, like, wait a minute. Oh my God, my mom taught me that, or I learned that from my old relationship, or oh, I've been judging him this whole time and looking at it through this way, and it totally wasn't like that. And with that new knowledge, now suddenly it wasn't a problem anymore. Or we had the freedom to not show up as our mothers in these relationships anymore and create those dynamics over and over again. Okay, so I'm going to go because it's the weekend and I'm going to go to a pool party and hang out with my family. But here's the thing. If you find yourself bickering with your partner this weekend, if you find that he's like pulling away, or he wants to do his own thing, or he's not, you're not feeling energetically as close as you'd like to, and then your mind starts to spiral and come up with like blame, and if he would only, and get annoyed, and why isn't he, and or you start to like panic and freak out, like, where did he go? Why isn't he near me? Something must be wrong. What did I do? Right? Based on who we are and what our traumas and triggers are, we have different kinds of reactions and thoughts to that. What I want you to do is feel inside of yourself, okay? Instead of try to chase after him, because that's never going to work, instead of trying to pressure him, nag him, nudge him, micromanage him, be passive aggressive with him, ain't none of those tactics have been working. Am I right? Am I right? You can tell me in the comments if I'm not right, and you can teach me what your nagging secrets are, but that stuff isn't working. I invite you to do something new. If you want to learn the techniques and ways to communicate with your man in a way that makes him fully receptive, if you want to learn how to give him that space and how to really take care of yourself in that time so that he can come back as your hero and king and really show up with you and give you what you need, this is all inside of my legendary Goddess Wife Schol. Doors close on Friday. Doors close on Friday, which is cray cray. We start next Monday on the 26th. I teach all this and more. It's a 10-week live program with just an amazing group of women coming together to support each other in creating the relationships that they truly desire with their partners, by leading back, by being in our feminine receiving energy, so that our man can show up as a hero, as a king for us, and give us everything that we ever wanted, because it makes us happy and because it makes him happy too. This is my favorite program that I do. This is the 4th time that we're running it. I have so many, hundreds of testimonials, so many happy partners, and I really want you to be one of them. So the link is at goddesswifeschol.com, or you can shoot me a DM if you want to grab one of my VIP spots. We have a few of those left. And if this video has been helpful for you, share it with a friend, share it with someone that needs to hear it, tag a woman that deserves to feel like a goddess every day. I love you so much, and I will be back tomorrow. Bye.